Someone once said, if your voice is loud, some people will listen. But if your message is strong, everyone will pay attention. Hi everyone, welcome to channel, and today I have an inspiring story for you.
In a small village called Rockland, there lived a poor farmer named Sam. His entire life revolved around the dry fields, his hands rough and calloused from years of hard labor. Sam had little to his name, just a simple house and a small family he loved dearly. His wife, Rebecca, and their 2 children, Johnny and Eva. Life had never been easy for them. Every meal, every penny earned, came from Sam's sweat and tireless work under the scorching sun. But despite their struggles, their home was always filled with warmth and laughter. For Sam, seeing his wife smile and his children play outside, their humble home was enough to keep him going. No matter how hard things got, but life has a cruel way of testing people when they least expect it. One day, while working in the fields, Sam suddenly felt lightheaded and dizzy. He tried to push through, but his body betrayed him. Before he knew it, everything went dark. When he regained consciousness, he found himself lying in bed, his whole body aching. Rebecca and the children sat beside him, their eyes filled with worry. That accident changed everything. Sam could no longer work like before. He could no longer provide for his family. As the days passed, their food supply dwindled, and the few coins they had left were quickly spent. Johnny and Eva, once carefree and full of life, now understood what it meant to be hungry, to go without. Sam looked at his wife and children, his heart heavy with guilt. As a husband, as a father, he was supposed to be their protector, their provider. But now, all he could do was watch as they struggled to get by. If only I hadn't gotten hurt, this wouldn't be happening, he thought. But fate had already made its choice. And in that moment, Rebecca knew if Sam could no longer be the breadwinner, she had to step up for the family. When Sam could no longer work, all the burden fell on Rebecca's shoulders. She saw the worry in her husband's eyes, noticed how their children grew weaker from lack of food. Although she tried to reassure Sam, deep down, she too was fearful for their future. She knew she couldn't just sit idly by. She couldn't let her children suffer from hunger and lack. One morning, as the sun began to shine across the village, Rebecca made a decision. She would go out and find work. She didn't know what kind of job she could get, but she could no longer afford to wait. She had always worked hard, but this time, everything would be different. She wasn't just looking for any job. She needed an opportunity to keep her family from falling into despair. She went from house to house, knocking on doors, asking if anyone had work for her. "I can clean, cook, wash, do whatever you need," Rebecca said with determination, though her tired face showed the strain. Finally, she arrived at the home of a woman named Emily. Emily asked her what kind of work she could do, and Rebecca didn't hesitate to say she was willing to do anything in the house that was needed. Emily looked at her with understanding and agreed to hire her as a maid, offering her a small salary. Rebecca didn't care about the little pay. She was just grateful for any work that would help feed her family on her first day of work. Rebecca felt her hands ache, but in her heart, she felt a glimmer of hope. Hope that her hard work would help her family get through the tough times. She had no regrets about her decision, even though she knew the road ahead would be full of challenges. Rebecca understood that only through hard work could she change the fate of her family. She refused to give up because she had to do it for her children, for her love for Sam, and for her family's future. Day after day, Rebecca worked tirelessly. She woke up early and did household chores for the family she worked for. Each task required hard effort, from cleaning and washing to cooking. However, the small wages she earned weren't enough to support her family. But Rebecca never complained. She knew her family's survival depended on every little penny she earned, and no matter how exhausting it was, she had to keep going. Even though her income was only $60 a month, Rebecca always did her best to provide the best she could for her family. She not only worked hard, but also found ways to save every cent. The leftover food from the families she worked for was often thrown away, but she would bring it home. She carefully sorted out what was still edible and brought it to her children. These scraps of food, though meager, were incredibly precious to Rebecca's family. Rebecca understood that she couldn't let discarded food go to waste. To her, every bite was a lifeline. She could only give her children what she had, whether it was a piece of stale bread or a leftover chunk of meat. She didn't want them to feel deprived, but at the same time, she couldn't give them anything more than what was available. A month passed, and though life remained tough, Rebecca began to feel less alone in her journey. She felt that, despite the hardships she was managing, she found joy in the simple things. When she saw her children's bellies full, when she noticed Sam, though still not fully recovered, could sit up and talk to the kids. Each day that passed brought Rebecca's small family one step closer to the hope of a brighter future. Throughout those difficult days, Rebecca never considered sharing her burdens with anyone, especially not with the family she worked for. She didn't want anyone to feel pity for her. She simply worked silently, day by day, to provide for her family. But there was one employer, Emily, who saw the pain Rebecca was hiding. Even though Rebecca always kept her struggles to herself, one day, when it was raining heavily, Rebecca arrived at Emily's house later than usual. She was drenched, her hands cold, yet she still pushed herself to finish her work. While everyone around her only saw her exhaustion and her pitiful state, Emily noticed something different. She saw the resilience in Rebecca's eyes, realizing that she had been enduring so much, yet never complained or asked for help. Emily asked Rebecca, "Aren't you feeling well? If you need to rest, it's okay. I won't hold it against you." Her words choked Rebecca up. She couldn't accept kindness from others, feeling that she should handle everything herself. But Emily, with her compassionate heart, insisted that Rebecca take care of herself. Gradually, Emily's concern for Rebecca went beyond just words of encouragement. She began to notice the situation in Rebecca's home, even though Rebecca never shared the details. And one day, when Rebecca arrived at work in the rain, Emily did something Rebecca never expected. She gave her an umbrella and a bag of leftover food, a simple but meaningful gift. Emily's small acts of kindness were like a ray of light in Rebecca's dark world. It made her feel that, even though the world outside was full of hardships, there were still people like Emily, people willing to share their love and care with those they didn't fully know. And that, though small, was enough to change Rebecca's life. One day, while Rebecca was working at Emily's house, she had no idea that her long, difficult journey was about to take a completely new turn. After witnessing the poverty Rebecca's family was living in, Emily couldn't just stand by. She decided to do something more meaningful to help. Knowing that her support needed to go beyond small gifts, it had to be a real change in their lives. Emily, with her boundless compassion, started taking action. She didn't just continue helping Rebecca with her work, but also made arrangements for Sam, her husband, to receive treatment at a reputable hospital. Although Rebecca never mentioned that her husband needed medical care, Emily could see and understand everything. She wanted to make sure Rebecca didn't just have a good job, but could also care for her family without constantly worrying about where their next meal would come from. When Rebecca learned about Emily's help, her heart nearly broke. She couldn't believe that someone outside her immediate family, someone she had only worked for, could show such deep love and concern for her family. "How can I ever repay you?" Rebecca asked through tears, but Emily simply smiled and said, "You don't need to repay me, just live well for your children and for yourself." Thanks to Emily's help, Sam received treatment at a good hospital and gradually recovered. Rebecca's children were able to go to school, gaining opportunities to learn and grow. Their lives were no longer as hard as before, and that small family finally had the chance to smile with happiness. Emily didn't just change their lives once. She brought about a permanent change, showing them that love and care are the most important things in life. Rebecca's story is a profound lesson in compassion and the importance of helping others in life. Despite facing unimaginable hardships, she remained resilient, continuing her work to provide for her family. These challenges never defeated her spirit. Through immense effort and sacrifice, Rebecca exemplified love, sacrifice, and perseverance, even in the most difficult circumstances. She never complained or thought of herself, always prioritizing her family. She taught us that love for family can turn hardships into the motivation needed to overcome challenges. However, this story is not just about a self-sacrificing mother. It is also a story about Emily's compassion, an employer who not only saw the hard work, but also recognized the hidden pain in Rebecca's life. When Emily decided to take action, it wasn't just about providing material help. She changed the course of a family's life. Emily's care and assistance gave Rebecca the opportunity to smile again and raise her children without the constant fear of what tomorrow might bring. This story serves as a reminder of how important it is to help others in life. We never know the struggles someone else is facing, But we always have the power to bring positive change to someone's life through small acts of kindness and genuine concern. Sometimes all it takes is a caring heart and a simple act of goodwill to transform a life. Rebecca and Emily's story will always stand as a living testament to the miracle of human kindness in the world.